In this YouTube video, I'm going to go over the second half of Salesforce for Dummies, part 2. I'm just going to review the book, and this is the book right here. I'm just going to walk through what this book goes over in a Salesforce trial. I'm currently a Salesforce trial user, and basically this part of the book goes over file contents. It goes over like escalation settings, workflow assignment, page layouts, creating custom objects and custom apps, and also, I guess, downloading apps from the Salesforce App Exchange, creating compact layouts for the mobile Salesforce application, which I'll try to connect my phone to my computer so you can actually see the Salesforce mobile application on my computer screen. I'm not sure if it'll connect via Bluetooth or not. Sometimes Alienware, the mobile phone, doesn't connect properly, but usually it does on the first try. So the first thing I'm going to go over is file and content, libraries, chatter files, and content options. So I'm going to open up files. If you don't have this on your navigation bar, you click this pencil here, and then you just search for files, and you'll have files. You could just click add more items, go to all, search files, press plus, and then it'll be on your navigation bar now for your sales app, because these are the different apps. You have the sales app, and here's a custom app that I make later on, and you could assign tabs to the custom app and create your own custom tabs. So right now I'm in the sales, and I just added files to my tab navigation pane. I added the files tab to my navigation pane. So the max file size is 2 gigabytes, and over here you can click upload files, and you can upload a file to your Salesforce instance. Let me just open that up again. So go to, I guess, PowerPoint for Dummies. I could just upload a Word document, or I could upload an image, and like here's like PowerPoint logo. Open that up, and you could download images and upload files. So under, like, you could have owned by me, or recent, or following. You could follow and see. You could create new libraries. So if you want like kind of like a folder, you can upload files and create new libraries and manage who has access to what library. You can create extra folders within libraries to organize your files. So here is a library I created by clicking new library at the top right. So click new library at the top right, and you could basically just be like new library, and you just upload an image for the library image, and then you click save. And let me see if I could change like the logo. I'll do like PowerPoint logo on my desktop. PowerPoint logo. So I'll click save. It doesn't change the logo next to it. Alright, well, so new library. You could click manage members if you want to manage who has access to which library, and each library you could have, you could click on the library, and then you could create a new folder under the library for further like additional sections. So this could be like section 1 of the new library, and then you could click in the folder and you could add files to it, so you could kind of organize your files and upload your files each day if you need it for reference later on for your work. And now when you send an email from the contact, account, cases, or campaign tabs, and you attach a file, you can reference your files and your libraries. Chatter also lets you attach up to 10 files at once. So if I go to, I guess, my contacts, I'll select a contact, go to email, and let me select a contact that actually has an email address. Go to email, and down here you can check this to attach a file, and it pulls up your files, and you can see the images right here. So I'll just select PowerPoint logo, add, and I mean under attach file you can go to your libraries, and anything that you have access to, you'll see your libraries here, so you can attach your files. So I mean, if you upload your file to Salesforce, and then you can just send it over to the client, so you could basically in 2 steps in one. You have access to the file for later on in an organized folder, and then also you could send it to the client. And then like leads, let me see, they all have notes and files section, so you could upload files under like leads, accounts, contacts, and opportunities. They all have notes and file pages or sub pages that you can upload files, and the files appear in your file tab later on, so you could just upload files from here. And so you don't have to go all the way over to your files, you could just go to your contact. When you're done with your work, click upload file, and then you could just attach the file right there and send it to the client, like right on the same page. So it even further reduces how easy it is to track your work and also send the work over to clients. And now I'm going to go over how to manage user type permission sets. So you're going to click the gear icon and you're going to go to setup, and on the left panel you expand apps and you click app manager. So on the right you click the drop down next to the app you want to edit, and you could click edit. So I'm going to go, I guess, sales, and notice how it has like app type. It has classic, lightning, connected. If it's like you have like all of the different apps here, you can actually download apps from Salesforce App Exchange. So here's the Salesforce App Exchange. Salesforce Labs actually makes apps, and then different companies also publish apps too. So you could like download apps such as like SMS, text messaging, and you could subscribe to additional apps which you could install, and then under your apps over here you could search for all the apps, and you could create your own apps also. And basically you can download apps from App Exchange. You sign in. This is a Salesforce website. You sign in with your normal Salesforce name. I'll show you how to do that later. And you basically download the app and you can install it and you can manage it over here. So under, I guess, let me go to like sales and classic, lightning. I'll click edit. So under app details and branding, you can click under like the logo, you could click clear and you could upload, and see this right here. This was the sales app that in the lightning view that I was editing. And so over here, if I go back to, if I clear this and then upload an image and click save, now let me just go back to my Salesforce homepage. So so that when you click edit there, you could actually create your own custom logo, because I'm in the sales app on the lightning view, and here are all the different tabs that are connected to this application, and you could just upload your own logo. So yeah, that had nothing to do with user type permission settings. So also you go to users and assign profiles to each user. Yeah, so I go over users and user management in my user video. So yeah, I was just I had the wrong heading there for what I was going over. So now I'm going to go over, I guess, like configurations and customizing your page and compact layouts, managing record types, which isn't available in Salesforce trial, so I can't show that to you. And then I'm going to go over dependent picklist, setting workflow processes, escalation actions for certain processes. So certain things happen when a case isn't handled for a certain amount of time. So say, for example, you have like a client and their computer doesn't work for like 6 months. Then after like 3 months or so, it could get like sent over to a manager and he could like do his job. And then you could go to like, so like you could kind of like, I guess, segregate certain cases and just make sure that they actually get handled and are taken seriously. And I'll go over like stuff like that. So page layouts is really cool because you could like, so under accounts, like you have like when you open up the record detail, you have like the heading up here, and you have like the activity over here, and you have like the detail record over here. So you can reorganize how the fields are displayed. You can add additional sub pages, and you'll see so many different components, which you can also download components from here, and I'll go over all the specifics in a little bit. So if you go to your setup page, if you go to gear and press setup, you could go home, and up here in create, you could actually create a user. You could create an email template, you could create workflow processes, and you could create custom tabs. You could find out how to create custom tabs. You could search tabs over here, and you could create custom tabs from there. And for users, you can go to users and then click users and create a user there. But you could click up here, and you can create like all those stuff like a little bit quicker. And I'll go over email templates later on too, which you can create like a custom email template, which gets sent based on a certain scenario. So I'm just going to go over, let me go to home, let me clear this quick find. I'm just going to go over Object Manager. So I'm going to select a particular object. Later on I'll show you, like here it has standard objects. You could have custom objects that you create, and you can manage like everything about the object, and you could actually write like custom code, which determines like how the records are related using like Apex code. Like Salesforce has like its own coding languages. So I'm just going to go over like very basic stuff right now. So I'm going to go to account, and here are the different fields in the object manager for each of the different objects. So right now I'm in the account object. You could click details. Fields and relationships has like the different columns and fields within this object, and I go over like a lot of all of the fields and relationships and the formulas and functions that you create in my Salesforce formulas and functions video. So I basically go over how to create custom columns, which are shown on each of the pages. So I created this column called like inventory 2, which tracked like inventory numbers. So yeah, so that's basically what fields and relationships are. It lets you create columns. It lets you create data types for the columns, whether it be like number, or percentage, or text, and then you could just fill in data for each of the different, like, so you got like your contacts, you got like this guy's name is fake name, and then like he has like this column called email, and you could fill in details called email, and then when you go to your contacts, you can sort by all the different emails and stuff. So that's kind of what fields and relationships are for the object manager. And then also you got like the page layouts. I happen to have 2 layouts created. This lead layout you could ignore, it was just me like moving around and stuff. But all of the different objects in Object Manager, such as like account or contacts or reports, etc., they have all of their own layouts. So like say I'll go to account layout, I could adjust the account layout, and then if I go home and then I select Object Manager and then go to contact, now obviously the contact has the same stuff. It has fields and relationships, it has page layouts, so you can edit your contact layout. So this is how you could edit the organization of all the fields. So contacts has like fax and home phone, so you could drag everything around and reorganize where everything is placed. And so on the contacts page, if I go to contacts, like I could drag around like additional information, so I just drag those 2 columns around, so you can drag all the stuff, all the fields around on your record detail section of your contacts tab. So page layout lets you just customize where everything is located and add certain actions and lookups, which you could create. And yeah, so that's kind of what the page layouts is. I'll go into more details and show you later on, but I'm just going over all the basic stuff. I'm doing like a quick summary. So here's the lightning pages for the contacts record page. You click this. This is really cool. So you go to edit, and it has the lightning app builder. On the left hand side it has the components, and it has the standard and the custom components. You could create your own component. And I mean, what's really cool is like say, I mean this account is fake name, but say if like the name was like Apple and I drag the news section down here, it actually has like all of the different like Apple news right there. So that's what's so cool about components. You could just like drag like news or like Twitter feeds or topics and all these different components, activities, chatter, and you could customize like how your contacts page is, how it is. And let's say like I go to pages, you can like create new pages. And I mean, let me go back to, I guess, like another Lightning page object manager. I'll go to like the leads object manager, Lightning record pages, click edit. I mean, the leads is particularly cool because you have like the path here, and you could edit, like you could click here and you could set up a path, and you could actually upload your own pick list, which I go over in my formulas and functions. And the pick list determines the stages of the leads, and you can make certain sections like requires approval by manager before it reaches that section. So you can manage the accounts as they go through different stages. And yeah, so and then like you could click each of the different sections and see what like each of the different sections are considered. And this has like a details tab, a marketing tab, a notes and files tab. Then you could like click each of the sections and like determine like up here is the heading, so the highlights panel, so you can determine what's on the highlights panel. I'll show you where the highlights section is on the page layouts that I went over before. So I'm going to go back to home and object manager. So I guess I'll go on accounts. So button links and actions, they let you create like actions for stuff. I think I actually go over actions. Yeah, I did like actions. You could drag like the quick actions on the page layout. You could drag the actions, quick actions onto your page, and then it does something like create a record. So yeah, that's what actions and buttons and links and actions do. Compact layouts lets you create a so you go to new, and then you could determine like the layout fields within like a mobile, like the mobile app, and you could set up like your compact layouts and which fields you want. And you could select up to 5 fields you see when you hover over a lookup field, and it's like fields that appear for similar use cases in the mobile app. So you got like the related lookup filters, and the magnifying glass that is clicked to, this is like the magnifying glass that is clicked to look up from another record to populate a field. You can create these filters to narrow down the search results, and you can narrow down to only accounts a particular user owns. So over here, I guess when I'm selecting like I'm in accounts, so I could select the parent account for here, and here's like an example of a lookup field that has a magnifying glass, so I could see all the accounts here, and I could select a parent account. So that's kind of what the related lookup filters do. And then you got like search layouts, which they control how search results are displayed to users, organization of columns on search results page and within the lookup pop-up window when you hover over a link and it's a lookup to another object. And then what else is there? They have like record types here, which I don't have access to because I'm a trial user, but it's really useful. You can match business processes with subsets of processes, drop down list to users, and a record type, when it's used with page layouts and profiles, can make drop down list values available to users in a profile. So I mean, with different editions of Salesforce, you can create a certain amount of fields. You could create like 100 custom fields per object. So like each of the objects, like account's an object, contacts is an object. So with Group Edition, you can create 100 custom fields per object, And with Enterprise Edition, you can create up to 500 custom fields per object. So there are certain limitations how many columns you can make in different editions. So now I'm going to show you how to link up pick lists and multi-select pick lists to be dependent on one another. And one selection enables different selections in another pick list. Note that I explained pick lists at 37 minutes on my Salesforce formulas and functions video, if you're unaware of what a pick list is. And I guess I'll show what a pick list is before I actually do anything. So I'm going to go to leads, and here's a pick list. You click here and you can select manager, associate, or intern for your pick list, and those are the only three choices. So now I'm going to go to setup, object manager. Setup is the gear. You click setup, go to setup, click object manager, and now I'm going to go to account, fields and relationships, and over here under field dependencies, actually I'm going to go to object manager and leads. So I'm going to go to object manager and lead, fields and relationships, field dependencies. So over here you can press new, and you could select the controlling field and the depending field for a field dependency. So on this page you select the fields that the values that appear in the dependent field, so the controlling field and the dependent field. So pick list are put under controlling fields or dependent fields, and pick list multi are put under dependent fields only. And there's also a pick list function which I reference. It's called isPickVal in my formulas video, and it makes it so that checkbox only works with a pick list. I mean, it basically checks whether the value of a pick list field is equal to a string literal, and it's a boolean, so it only works with checkboxes. So you can have a pick list controlling which values can be selected in a pick list multi, while also having an isPickVal function checking a box if a certain pick list controlling field is selected. And in my formulas and functions video, I show you how you can use if functions with checkboxes to assign values to true or false to other checkboxes based on a checkbox at 3515. And I mean, here I'm just going to go to pick list 1 and like GGG, press continue. So I'm not actually going to do anything, but here you can hold control to select multiple values. So basically, if you want to include a value, you click include values here. You hold control and you could select as many as you want. So for like pick list 1 manager, if I have manager here selected, then this GGG other pick list, it could only include this option, CAD, G, and YUSD. And then if I have associate selected, I can only select CAD. If I have intern selected, I can only do YUSD. So you could select whichever ones you want and click include value. So that's how you can kind of interrelate pick lists as field dependencies, and you can make one pick list exclude values, one pick list choice exclude values or include values, etc. So that's kind of what the field dependency is. You click save. Here, I'll just preview it. I don't have any included now, so I'm going to click include values, click preview. Manager, you can see all of them. Associate, you can only see CAD. Intern, can see that. So that's how that works. And I mean, on your page layouts, you can create custom fields, and then you could include the custom pick list, and then you can select certain categories, and then also you could add in lookups, and yeah. You could also, in fields and relationships, there's actually another thing called master-child relationship, which I don't have access to because I'm in the child version, but you can basically make table relationships even more so Salesforce is basically Microsoft Access, except it has way more functionality. So over here They usually have something called record types if you aren't a trial user. And record types let you offer different business processes, pick list values, and page layouts to different users. You might create record types to differentiate your regular sales deals from your professional service engagements. You could offer different pick list values for each, or you might display different page layouts for your customer support cases versus your billing cases. So record types is a really useful thing that I don't have access to. So I'm going to go over like page layouts now, and you could assign different page layouts to different user profiles. I go over how to manage users in my Salesforce users video, and like I also show you how to customize your page layouts and the lightning record pages. So page layouts, what's cool about page layouts is it controls the layout and the organization of buttons, fields. S controls visual force, custom links, and related lists on object record pages. They also help determine which fields are visible, read-only, and required. You use the page layouts to customize the content of record pages for your users. And I mean, in my Salesforce users YouTube video, I actually show you how to assign whether certain tabs are viewable or certain fields are viewable, editable, or creatable by users. But page layouts lets you set additional limitations, and so I'm going to go to page layout, and you can adjust the page layout for specific tabs. With Enterprise and Unlimited Edition of Salesforce user licenses, I also go over user licenses in my users video. You can create multiple page layouts, and you could assign them to profiles, record types, or a combination of both. I go over profiles in my user Salesforce video again. So you can, I'll go to lead layout. So here's like the highlights panel that was at the top of the lightning record page that I showed before. But yeah, so over here, this is the lead. So let me go to leads, and I'll just open up a record page, discard changes. So these are like all the columns, fields that are available on a leads page, and you can see them over here. Basically, you can click like the wrench next to it, and you can make it read only or required, and you can click on it and you can drag them and reorder where they appear, and then you click save when you're done customizing your page layout. And certain fields aren't shown or included down there, so you can just drag that down here from up here. You have the fields up here. You have buttons, which you can create in buttons, links, and actions, and they could have custom actions. So you go to actions, and you have like different actions up here. You have related lists, and then like related lists, you could have like the field history tracking, and then you could drag the field history tracking down to related list, and you could see all the changes in certain fields that occurred. And like, so say if someone adjusts a record to be something, you could see that that was a change in the field history related list. And then like you got components and stuff. So you can, let me scroll down here to where the fields are. You could create sections on the layout to group fields. I don't go over that in this video. You can assign page layouts to profiles. So to do that, you basically, I'll just click save because I edited this page layout. I'm going to go over here. And to assign a page layout, you go to page layouts and you go to page layout assignment. And here are all the different user profiles. I go over how to create user profiles in my user creation video, but here are like 2 custom standard users that I made, and then here's system administrator, which is the Salesforce creator and lead. So you can actually click edit assignment, and then you kind of select which page layout you want. So you could assign a different page layout to different people. And over here, obviously, if you go to page layouts, new, you could create a new page layout, and then you could clone it based off of a current page layout, and then just name it. It would be like lead layout 2. Click save, and then you could customize it however you want. You'd be like, I want this column over here. So you could arrange how the columns are ordered for different people in your organization. So if you go to page layouts, now I have this layout here. So I go to page layout assignment, edit assignment, and I want to say custom standard user 2. His layout is now that layout that we just created. Click save. So now this person has that different layout. So you can customize layouts to different profiles. I go over how to make profiles and assign profiles to users, and to users in my Salesforce user video. So search layouts, it didn't make sense to me. I honestly don't understand it, so I'm not going to go over it. So I'm going to go over, I guess, let me see if I can connect my phone to Bluetooth on my computer. I'm going to go over compact layouts, and let me just try to see if my phone connects. Let me open up my Alienware Mobile Connect app, pair with my PC. It usually only works the first time I connect it to my computer when it's on, because like the Bluetooth and the audio just keeps like disconnecting. Yeah, my mobile phone's not working. Oh well. Yeah, so I can't show you the Salesforce mobile app because Alienware's phone connection doesn't work sometimes. Yeah, so I guess I'll go to Lightning Record Pages, and I'll click this and go to Edit. So again, the left sidebar contains standard and custom Lightning components. You can make your own Lightning components. You can click here, and this is the Highlights panel, which was at the top of the page layout that I mentioned before. So you can rearrange you could assign page layouts, compact layouts, you could click each component and see what they're called. On the right hand side, this is the record detail of the leads page, and you could add like filters and page layouts, and you click on each component. This is the path. And I mean the pick list, I'll show you later on, can like change which each of the stages are. And the record detail, I guess, is like the main page with the fields that you customize and reorder in the page layout. I showed you how to reorder the page layouts. And I guess now I'm going to go over a workflow. So if you go, let me go back, and so I'm going to go to Setup and Workflow Rules. So I'll go to my Setup page. You click this gear, you go to Setup, and then you go to Workflow Rules, and you click that. Press Continue. So workflow rules are criteria that you set when triggered can tell Salesforce to assign tasks or send emails. You could do workflow field updates, and you can specify a field to be updated on an object when a rule is triggered. You can do workflow tasks, tasks that a workflow rule assigns to users when triggered. You can do workflow alerts, and are the email templates that a workflow rule sends to specific recipients. Before creating a workflow alert, make sure you've created the email template. I showed you how to create email templates. Well, I'll show you how to create email templates in the section. And then you got workflow tasks and alerts, maybe reused for different workflow rules. So yeah, before I do workflow rules, I'm actually going to show you how to create a email template. So go to Setup, Home, Create, and Email Template. So over here, I'll just do like a text for my email template. And you click here, Available to Use, so that it activates it and you're able to use this template. You could use it in your contacts section too. So basically so I'll just call like the email template 2, and then the subject will be the subject of the email. This is the message to whoever when you click and use this. And I'll click Save. You actually send, test, and verify merge fields. So you could send like a test before, like while you're working on this email template, and you can, I guess, select a user, or you could send an email preview to a particular, so you could test out like a template to a user and say if they like it, or you could send an email preview to yourself at gmail.com and then press OK. And then it'll actually send a template to yourself. So I'll go to me, press OK. And if I go to Gmail now, I would have like a test email. I'm not going to though, because for time. Yeah, so now I have like a new template called Email Template 2, and now I guess let me go to Contacts. I'll open up like a person with an email address, go to Email, and I forgot how to change email templates for particular people. Oh well. So with the workflow thing, you could still use like the email templates. So I'm going to go back to workflow rules and continue. So you can go to new rule here. So you can create as many rules as you want. You can create a new view for your workflow rules if you need to create different categories for your workflow rules, because they're just so useful. So I'm going to press new rule, and you select the object that you want the rule to apply to, like account or contact or case. So I'm going to do, I guess, I'm going to do account. I'm going to press next, and then you just assign like the workflow rule name. So this would be like workflow rule example 1, and you could do when the rule is created, and every time it is edited, or when it's created and any time it's edited to subsequently meet criteria. So the difference between those two options, created every time it's edited and created any time it's edited to subsequently meet criteria, is created and every time it's edited evaluates the rule criteria every time a record is created or updated. If the rule criteria is met, run the rule. With this option, the rule repeatedly runs every time a record is edited, as long as the record meets the rule criteria. And if that still doesn't make sense to you, created and any time it's edited to subsequently meet criteria evaluates the rule criteria every time a record is created or updated, just like the other option. But this one differs because for a new record, it only runs the rule if the rule criteria is met, and it only runs the rule if the record is changed from not meeting the rule criteria to meeting the rule criteria. So if that still doesn't make sense to you, you could do criteria are met and like account name and equals 1. So now when a user creates or edits a record from being like, say, account, say if someone creates a record and the account is originally account 2 and then they change it to be account 1, or they create a record that is called account 1 from the get-go, then this workflow rule will execute. And the difference between created and anytime it's edited to subsequently meet criteria and created and every time it's edited is that created and every time it's edited, say if the account is created and the account is account 3 and you edit it to account 4, it won't execute because it's not account 1 still. If it's 1 and then you edit it to 2, if it's account 1 and you edit it to account 2, created and every time it's edited will execute still, because the account field before you change, which was account 1 to account 2, it was still 1 before it was changed. So that's what the difference is between edited, is that it includes like the prior field before you changed its value. So that's the difference between those two. So for the workflow rule, I'm going to go to created for now. I'm going to click save and next. And basically you can add an immediate workflow action or a time dependent workflow actions. I'm going to go over mostly immediate workflow actions. I feel they're more useful. But time dependent, you could have it so that an email gets sent to a client or a particular email address a certain amount of days or hours after someone creates an account that has a certain condition or criteria. So I'm going to go to add workflow action, and I'm basically going to do a new email alert, and the email alert is going to be like workflow email alert, and the email template is going to be that one that I just made, email template 2, and the recipient is going to be a user or account or a contact. So you could create, like, you can make sure, like, if you create a new account for a particular client, they could get an auto-generated email template that says, here is your new account was created and this is what the account is. So I'm going to click a recipient type user. So everything, the users are down here, you could add them. And then also you could do like account owner, so you could add the account owners, or you go to creator, or you go to email fields, or related user, role, VBA intern. So you could send an email to all of the interns and say, hey, this new account was created and it meets this criteria, and now you all know about it. So I'm going to go to user, press add, and you can answer up to 5 additional emails to be notified. So from email, just current email user's email, I'm going to click save. So yeah, so basically now I go to edit, now I click save. Let me go back to, I'll click done up here, and I'm still not done because you have to click activate right here, because right now this workflow rule you made is not active. So you click activate and now it works. So now when I go over here and I go to accounts and I press new, so if someone, I made the criteria, so if someone makes an account called account name 1, then it'll send an email to, using the template that I stated, it'll send an email to whichever email addresses I selected. So I'll click save. So now an email was just triggered and it was sent over to my email address, and I'm not going to open up my email address because I really don't want to share all of my emails with everyone, because I have a few Google Hangouts on my email address and I don't want that on YouTube. But yeah, that email alert got sent out automatically because the account name equaled 1 and it was based on the object account. So I'm going to create a new workflow rule until it makes sense from the get-go. So I'll go to workflow rules, continue, and I'll do new rule. I'm going to do it with leads in this case. So I go to lead, next, and the rule name will be, I guess, lead account equals, no, I'll do like change to 1. So created every time it's edited to meet the criteria is I'll do, so someone created a lead with a city equal to 1. So initially, I'll click save and next, and then I'll go to done and activate. So I'll go over here to leads, and I guess I'll edit a particular lead, and then I'll just go to the city. There's no city field, but if I edited that to city, and it would send an email to whoever, because I did based on the lead being changed, the city being changed to equal 1, or being created and equaling 1. So I'm going to go to workflow rules, continue, rule, and I'll select, I guess, the account object next, and this would be account formula. So you could do run this rule if formula evaluates to true. So you can use formulas based on particular fields, and send an email if certain formula condition is true. I go over Salesforce formulas and functions in my Salesforce formulas and functions video, but so you can make use of that. And I mean, you can select multiple criteria. You can select account name and billing city. So both of these fields have to be true. They have to evaluate true, and then the workflow rule will execute. So you can get automatic updates about new account creations or field changes automatically sent to you, so you know and can manage your accounts properly. And so let me go to, I guess, let me press equals 1, and let me just remove that to none, save it next. So I'm going to do add workflow action, and you have to make sure you add the workflow action before clicking done. So the new field update, always make sure you click activate, but you do it based on inventory. So I'll do new field update, and this basically just tells you it makes another field update based on another field meeting a certain criteria. So this could be inventory update, and field to update will be inventory. You have custom fields down here, so inventory quantity 2, and basically you can use the formulas to set the new value, and then you click show formula editor, and you can do insert fields. So say if inventory quantity click save. So when we go to remove, let me go, I'm just going to go restart that workflow rule for a new rule, because I want it to be for leads, because I think my leads is the thing that has the inventory quantity. So it'll be inventory quantity 2. So anytime it's created and edited, and I want to so when the lead inventory quantity equals 1, what I want to happen is I want a field update to happen. So when inventory quantity field 1 equals 1, I want inventory quantity 2 to basically take inventory quantity 1 plus 10,000. I'll click save, and then I'll click done up here, and I'll click activate. So I'll go over to my leads. Let me go to my leads, and like I'll make this inventory. Let me make inventory quantity viewable on this page. So I'll select the fields to display. Inventory quantity is a custom-made field that I made, so I'll add that over here. So basically I'll make this inventory quantity 1, press enter and save, and you'll see on the right hand side of the screen inventory quantity 2 automatically added 10,000 to itself. So based on a field getting created or getting edited to be a certain value, you can have a certain other field execute a formula or a function. And so also I guess let me go to like another workflow rule. So I'll go to new workflow rule, I'll go to continue, new rule, and I'll do a I'll do a lead next lead. I'll just be like the rule name and criteria met. I'll do like inventory quantity equals 1. Save and next. So for this workflow action, I'll do like new task. So you can assign a task to a certain person, a certain user, based on a certain criteria being met for a certain field, and the task assignment will just be like inventory quantity equals 1 as the subject, and you get a due date. So I could say like the rule trigger day plus 7 days. So whenever the rule gets triggered, plus 7 days, and you could set the status of the task and priority. So I'll click save and new, and then let me go to, you click save and then go to edit, save. Alright, click yeah, you gotta click the rule and then click activate. So now I'm gonna go to, I'm just gonna create a new lead, and I'll just enter random stuff in, and for inventory quantity I'm gonna make it 1, click save. Obviously inventory quantity 2 automatically updates to 10,001 when you create the new record. And then also I got a task assigned to me as a user, so I go to tasks, and obviously I got subject over here is my task, inventory equal to 1. So I click in here, I got a new task, it was assigned to me, and obviously if I have my task filtered by me, then I'll see that, and then I'll also see that on my home page. So basically, because that is, you could be like, because this field equals that, now I have new work to do. So you could assign work to people automatically with workflow rules. And then under workflow rules, if you go to continue, you can click new rule, and you go to, I guess, account next. I'll just enter a random name, account name equals, just do 1 again, save and next. So you add the workflow action. You could select an existing action from stuff that you've already made. So we've gone over email alerts, we've gone over field updates, inventory field update, we've gone over texts, so you can, or tasks, so you can add all the existing stuff that you already made, and then that's what that's what select existing action does. You could have based on a criteria that you already have, you can add something that you already made. If you want it to be based on, like, if it equals 2 also now, then you could add something that you've already made to based on a different criteria. And then you could also do like time dependent workflow actions. So you could do like 30 days after it triggers, you can send an email to someone or assign a task to someone. Be like, hey, we create a new account, and 30 days from now we also want you could do an immediate workflow action and a time dependent workflow action. So you could say like 30 days after the account was created, you want a reminder to review the account and confirm that the bank instructions are actually set up properly. And then let's say after you set up outbound messaging, so you could add outbound messaging. And what's really cool about outbound messaging is a triggering event occurs, a message is sent to the specified URL, endpoint URL. So it sends a message containing the field specified when you create the outbound message. Once the endpoint URL receives the message, it can take the information from the message and process it. To do that, you need to examine the outbound messaging WSDL. So WSDL is an XML format, which describes network services as a set of endpoints operating on messages containing either a document-oriented or process-oriented information. The operations and messages are described abstractly and then bound to a concrete network protocol and message format to define an endpoint. I have no idea what that means, but basically this sends certain strings of data to a website, and the website can react to that information coming in and process certain things. And yeah, I don't know how to do that. Maybe I'll go over like an XML book and try to figure that out. And now I'm going to go over standard object setup and customization. So go to setup by clicking the gear icon, and then over here search for feature settings. And sales, and then account settings. You basically just search account settings. And if you click edit here, you could click show view hierarchy on account pages. So over on, like, I guess your contacts page, you click an account and you click up here, or contact, and you can see the contact account hierarchy. And I mean, obviously accounts are above contacts, so you could view the contacts under the accounts. You go to opportunities, click an opportunity. Let me go to op2. You go to accounts, let me click an account. You could view the account hierarchy over here, so that's what that does in account settings. You could enable news. So I guess on your Apple page, you can view news about Apple. And I mean, the Apple page will also auto-assign the Apple logo to it when you create it for a contact or whatever tab. So now you can go to setup object manager, and then I guess account and lightning record pages, account page, edit. So I guess it goes to your most recently selected account. So I'm going to create an account called Apple, and select Apple and click save. And let me just like go back and then edit the lightning record page so it looks cooler with Apple there. Yeah, so it has Apple here, and I dragged this news component down here, so it has like Apple shares rise on the iCar emerge in 2024. So it has all of the new news associated with Apple, and I deleted the logo for it, but normally it has the logo right there. I deleted the logo. You could actually put custom logos on pages. I mean, by using like an if is blank with an image formula and all this other stuff, but I'm not going to do that because I don't need to, but I could. And so how to enable contact roles on opportunities. So you could go to your settings and you go to setup, feature setting, and sales processes. So I'm just going to search sales processes. Sales. So sales. So sales processes isn't available in the trial mode. Let me just close out my. Yeah, sales processes isn't available in the trial mode. But if you had like the actual Salesforce, I have a trial, so I don't have access to it. But the sales process, you could change the stages for opportunity processes, and you could show the path for an opportunity and click edit around the path settings. You could also require approval for an opportunity to be saved at a particular stage with the sales process. And now I'm going to go to enable contact roles on opportunities. So you go to setup, sales, and then contact roles on opportunities. So I'll type in, I guess, contact roles on opportunities. You could add contact roles on cases too. So basically you go here, and the roles given to each contact for an opportunity include business users, decision maker. So you can edit what these are. You can click new and whatever. So you go to opportunities and you click in an opportunity and then go to contacts. You can see the contact roles assigned here, and you could add contacts from your contacts page, and then you could edit their roles. So you can make this guy like a business user and click save. So you could kind of categorize how each of the contacts appear, and you could create your own contact roles and new contact roles, and yeah, that's how you could work and I guess work with opportunities and contacts together. And I mean, with the sales process, it's cool because you could like require approval at different stages of an opportunity. So like an opportunity, you go over here and open up an opportunity as different stages, so you can require approval at certain levels. And you could also like auto associate like opportunities with the contacts. So yeah, you can like auto associate like the opportunities with the contacts, which would be a part of accounts. And in my first video, I showed you like how to roll up opportunities onto accounts, and it sums up the total balance of all the opportunities for the total deals closed. And I mean, if you go to your opportunities page and you're like reorganizing how like what stage everything is in, you can like reorganize the stages of all of your opportunities really fast. And I mean, if they're associated with accounts and then they're associated with the contacts and associated with the accounts, then they're auto rolling up with the accounts, and all the math is like really quick and stuff. So you can like track stuff during different stages. And so now I'm going to go over like the path on the lightning page, the lightning record page. So I'm going to go to Object Manager, and I guess lead, lightning record pages, and edit. So leads, they have stages also, just like opportunities, and you can click here, and lead doesn't have a path initially, but you click setup path, and you could select a currently existing path, or you could create a new path, and then just be like, this would be like my lead path, and then you choose an object, so I want leads. And then pick list, you could actually select pick list that you made yourself. So I'm going to go pick list 1, and it has like manager field, associate field, and intern field. And then over here you can add update fields, and this basically like I'll just add like a inventory number here, click save. And then you could say guidance for success, and this would be like description on how to become an associate. And press next, and you could activate your path. I'll click finish. So let me go over to my leads page, and let me go to leads, and I'll click on a particular lead. So now I have these 3 different stages. And when you click on here, if you press this button, you could view the inventory quantity, which is what I added when let me go to setup path again. So I'll go to edit, next. So when I clicked add, edit, update fields, this drop down lets you see the inventory quantity at each of the different stages, and then you could see the guidance for success right there. So I mean, if you have like a roll-up field, you could see what the sum is at each of the different fields, and yeah, I mean, you could have different levels of approval to reach the next stage, and what's really cool about campaigns is that they could be associated with opportunities just by containing a relation to the contact role on an opportunity. So the campaigns over here, which I go over in my advanced lead upload video, because you could upload leads into your campaigns, and you could upload contacts to your campaigns. So this campaign I have right here, it has like 14 members. It has some that are contacts, some that are leads. And if the contacts are associated with contacts that opportunities are associated with, then the campaign automatically gets auto-associated with the opportunities just by containing a relation to the contact role of an opportunity. So the campaign is related to contact role and opportunity, and the opportunity hasn't closed, then the campaign will automatically be associated with that opportunity as long as it still exists. So the opportunity could kind of be like something that before it reaches its like last stage and it closes out, then you could have a campaign associated with it. So it could be extra funds that are associated with something until it actually happens. So it could kind of be like a close off, like a gate, and it just closes up, and then all of a sudden the campaign can't possibly add extra money to it because it failed, or it's already done, so it's no longer associated with it. So if you go to setup, feature settings, service, and support settings, let me go to setup, close out some of my tabs, go to setup, and I'll type in support settings. You could make a default case owner as this person. Just like in lead settings, you can define the default lead owner. I go over cases in my Outlook integration and case video. If you want to integrate Outlook to work with Salesforce from your Microsoft Outlook, and create like a web to case form where you could have an outside website, make your support desk cases get input by a form that is input on a different website, and you can also have emails that you generate to clients automatically create cases too. And so now I'm going to go to setup, and let me go to home, and I'll go to escalation rules. So under escalation rules, you can create an escalation rule. So you press new, enter the name, and you don't click active yet, you click save, but you have to activate it when you're done. And then basically you have to switch to Salesforce Classic to actually work with the rule. So I'm going to go to Salesforce Classic, and then I'm going to go to setup and escalation rules, and then you select so I'm going to select name, and then you could do the rule entries down here. So you could do new, and sort order, you just put 1 for the first one, but if you make another rule, then you can put 2, and then these execute in order. So the sort order 1 will execute first, and then the sort order 2 will execute second. So you will now see a rule entry section. This is the rule entry section. So you could add as many rule entries as you want. This is the first one, and it's sorted as 1. So you could do like criteria are met, and so you could do cases. So like escalation rule, let's say the case was created by a particular person, like say like the case is created by bank, and you could ignore the business hours, and you could specify the time, how escalation times are set, when the case is created. So click save, and you could do, now that you have the rules, you can click new, so escalation actions. So specify the time criteria for the rule. So if the number of hours after which a case should escalate if it hasn't been closed. So if at the bank they create a case and it's still not closed after a certain amount of time, 30 minutes, you could reassign it to a certain person. You could say like, oh, I want this person to be the new owner of the case, and here's a notification template, and you can notify a particular user. You like notify the person who was the original user, and you can notify them with this email template, and you can notify the case owner too and add in additional emails and click save. And then basically you go back to name, edit, save, edit, and then you could create and make it active now. So now the rule is active. So if the case is created and it's created by a bank and it hasn't been closed in 30 minutes, then it could reassign it to classic user Z, and then it could also send an email notification to the original owner. And so now I'm going to show you how to build custom apps, understand Lightning Platform, creating apps with Lightning Experience, App Manager, exploring the App Exchange apps. So there are 3 types of Lightning pages. There are record pages, home pages, and app pages. And there are Lightning components. Lightning components are, let me go over to back to Lightning Experience and Setup and Object Manager account. So these are the Lightning record pages, and Lightning record pages have components. These are the building blocks that form the blueprint of what goes on a Lightning page, as well as any other mobile version of your customization. You could have the standard, which are up here. You could have custom, which are down here. Customs are developed using code, which means that you can have several components built for your specific company. And then third party apps or Lightning components can be downloaded from the App Exchange. Here is the appexchange.salesforce.com. This is the official Salesforce website. You can log in, and I'll go to Salesforce Labs in the App Exchange. And basically you can like they have apps, components, so I'm just going to sort by components here, apply filters, and then you have free, paid, and then the addition to Salesforce, and then ratings. So I could say like I want like Dashboard Pal, so I'll go to Dashboard Pal, click on this, you click get it now, and then you could connected Salesforce account, you could install it in production, and then it prompts you to select which users you want this component to be available for. So I'm going to confirm, I've read and I confirm. So this is this official Salesforce thing. Salesforce Labs is the official component is the official like name of Salesforce people who make apps or components to download. So I'm going to choose a username as this person to log in, and I'm going to install it for the admins only. You could install it for specific profiles. So I show you all the different profiles in my user creation video. You can install it for just the admins. So I'm just going to install it just for the admins. It's called Dashboard Pal component. And it's by Salesforce Labs, who's the official Salesforce team that makes components, apps. So it's installation complete. So you can see your installed packages over here. And let me go over to my object manager, and I'll go to account, lightning record pages, account record page. I'll click edit, and you go over here. Now I have 34, so dashboard pal is custom. So I got dashboard pal now. Let me just add dashboard pal down here. So now dashboard pal, it has like all this different stuff. So it tells you how to get started with dashboard pal. And I guess dashboard pal just sums up the inventory. Dashboard pal. Let me click save. I'll just go and view like an account page now. See what dashboard pal looks like. So go to accounts and see what dashboard pal is doing. It has a component error, whatever. It has like New Jersey and New York, and I guess you click it and you can go to the report. So you could dashboard pal just automatically brings me to my dashboard. And yeah, I'm just going to like disable dashboard pal because I don't know how to use dashboard pal yet. Dashboard pal thinks these people. So I'm going to go over to Lightning App Builder, where you can create and edit Lightning pages. So Lightning App Builder is where you can create and edit Lightning pages. This is the Lightning App Builder, and here are the different pages. So you can create like a new page, and you could assign different pages to different users. And let's say, so this guy over here, SFDC guy, he works with custom objects in Salesforce. I highly recommend you watch this video. It's pretty cool what he does. He builds a reports or an invoices custom object, and then he basically associates it with another object, and then he creates a relationship between them. And he also works with like Apex code, which is a Salesforce programming language that you can use to integrate Salesforce with other systems. Visualforce is also another Salesforce programming language that built long before Lightning pages were an option, and you can customize front-end page design and components of your custom applications. So yeah, now I showed you how to like install like custom applications from the App Exchange, and how to select which profiles it is installed for. So now I'm going to go to how to build custom objects. You can't create custom objects in Salesforce trial, but basically you go to setup and you select object manager, and then up here normally it has new custom objects, but it doesn't have it for trial users. But you go to schema builder and you can see like how all the different tables are related to one another, which is pretty cool. And you can see like the contacts and how they're related to accounts and how they're related to case. So you get like an large overview of how all the different like tabs or objects that exist and how they relate, whether they're like in a master or not master relationship. So Salesforce has like, now I'm going to show you I guess how to, well, this guy in this video, he shows you how to create custom list views within the custom object. So the custom object would be like, he'll make like his own like account tab or whatever, but it'll be a custom object, and you can create like a custom list view while you're creating a custom object. You can customize the page layout like you do with the other objects. You can enable track history changes. You can do all this other stuff. So now I'm going to build a custom app. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click setup. It goes out some of my pages. Setup and apps, app manager. Click apps, app manager, double click that. And this shows all the current apps in your Salesforce instance, such as Sales, Lightning, Service Console, like here's the sales lightning, and sales lightning is basically click up here and you got sales, so it has all the standard tabs. You got the service console, so these are all the different apps. So basically you're in your app manager. You could select a new lightning app, which lets you create your own custom app. Basically the same thing as sales, and you could rearrange which tabs are available, set your own logo. So go to new lightning app, and you name the app. You could be like, this would be like called like lightning, and then you could upload an image. I'll just do like the PowerPoint logo again, and you could set like the primary hex color, so that determines the color of the tab. So I'll press next. So here the setup experience, so setups, service setup, and basic sales setup. If you go over here, these are the different setups, so basic sales setup, setup, and service setup. So that's where those are. You got navigation style, you got standard navigation, and then you have console navigation. And standard navigation, well, if you go to like, if you Google and you say like, how are console apps different from standard apps, basically when you click the tab, you have sub-tabs underneath the main tab. So with the console, if you click cases, it'll expand and it'll have like accounts and activities and whatever. But with standard apps, it's just, it doesn't have like sub-tabs under tabs. So that's the difference between that. And then you got supported form factors, you got desktop and phone or whatever. So I'm going to click next. And then under utility items, utility lets you select common productivity tools. The utility is broadly defined as a single column lightning page. Salesforce provides you with several ready to use utilities such as recent items, history, and notes. So I'm going to add a utility item. And then I'm going to scroll over here to my custom app that I already made. So I'm going to go to custom app. And I guess over here you got like fake name. Yeah, so utility items, I really don't know how those work, so I'm going to press next. But you could add like all these different lightning components here and press next. So over here you have like the available items. The navigation items. So I understand what these are. These are where you could select what tabs or apps your custom app can navigate to. So here's my custom app. Go to custom app, and I have the contacts tab on here, and I have the home tab up here. So you can add over like, for this one I'll just add like the campaigns, and I'll add like, these are all the different stuff like apps and tabs and different things that you can add. I'll put like the home tab there. So I mean originally like the original sales thing doesn't have like a home tab, so it's kind of annoying because you can't like click home. Yeah, these are all the different stuff you could do. And then you push next, and you could select your profiles. So profiles determine which profiles can access the custom app. So only certain user profiles can access the custom app that you make. And like I show you the profiles in my user video, so I'll click System Administrator, could see it, I'll click Save. So now I'll refresh over here, and I'll go over to Lightning. So here's Lightning now, and this has all these different things. It has the Home tab, it has the Campaigns tab. So if you want to organize like how you access all your information a little bit quicker, it's like a drop down, and you could customize the app. You could customize the page layouts for each of your apps. And also, I mean, to build custom tabs, you go over to Setup and go to User Interface. So tabs are like account or contacts. So I'm going to go to User Interface. And I'm going to go to tabs, double click tabs, and so to build custom tabs here, you basically select new, and then you select new custom create a custom new object now. You can make the tab an auto number, so it would auto increment up or text. The guy in this custom objects video showed you something similar to this. And I mean, you do like data type auto number and put like invoice and then like 000 and then like that, and then the starting number will be 1, so the first one will be like invoice 1. So you could like, you're creating like a custom object for this tab, and I actually can't create custom objects since I'm in a trial version, so I'm just going to cancel out of this. But yeah, you could basically make like custom tabs with tab styles, and you can add them to a custom object that you make. I can't create custom objects, but this guy shows you how to do that. And then for the tab, you could add tabs to your custom object that way. And I guess this book also goes over some user stuff that I didn't know about, or I didn't review in my user video. So you go to like settings over here, and you can type in security, and then you go to sharing settings, which isn't available in trial mode, but it allows you to further control what users can access and see. Is separated by profile, role hierarchies, and groups. Sharing roles lets you override role hierarchy so that users under other users in the role hierarchy, which I go over role hierarchies in my users video, and it basically is like an org chart, and it has different levels of people, and people who are higher up can view the data and edit the data of people underneath them, and the people underneath them can't access the data of the people above them. So the sharing roles lets you do exceptions for people who are underneath, and they could see and edit data in certain instances if you enable it in the sharing settings, which I don't have access to because I'm in trial mode. You can set up specific sharing settings for various tab objects such as leads, opportunities, and limit specific major records from being seen by certain people too. So now I'm going to go over to setup, and I'm going to go over to field accessibility. And over here you could select a particular object or a tab account, and then you can select view by fields. So you could select all the different fields here. I could say like account name, and these are all required, so you can't adjust them, but say like here are the profiles, which I go over in my user video. So basically you click here and you can edit stuff, but since it's required you can't really change it, but it'll make more sense. So I'll go to, I guess, like the company, and so for the account object tab you go to system administrator and click edit, and you can make something not visible to a particular user profile, which you could assign to different users. You can make certain fields or columns read-only or required if you want, to force them to have to enter stuff. You could also do this in the page layout, but fields accessibility lets you determine who could see what even more than like the page layout or the user profile and the permissions that you assign to the user profile. And if you go to setup and then security and delegated administration, which isn't available in the trial, you can group users together and specify which roles they can manage and which profiles they can assign to users. And thank you for watching my video. That was basically the second half of Salesforce for Dummies, and my other videos control everything that you can do as a Salesforce trial user. And thank you for watching my video.